everybody. My name is Brenda, and this is my very first uh, chance to talk with all of you. I am a layperson with the United Methodist Church, and that is just who I am. It really doesn't have anything to do with what I say, but I did want you to know where I'm coming from. And I want to share with you all the ordinary people I've been finding in our fantastic book here. The Old Testament, I think, is a hard book to read sometimes, especially if you're a new Christian. It's full of great history, psalms, which are songs, um, of the people called Israelites, children of Abraham. But I also have found it is so full of ordinary people, people like you and me, and I just I have found it amazing. And I have to tell you that the first time that realization hit to me, I think I laughed for 3 minutes thinking about who I knew this person to be. So let's start right in. And we're going to look right away. Genesis chapter 3. A lot of books call it the fall. And just so you know, I'm using an NIV version. And so if you pop open your books and it's a different version, the words might be just a little bit different. Um, so I'm going to start right off with the story from the Bible. Now, the serpent was more crafty than any other wild animal. And he came to the woman and he said, "Did God really say to you that you mustn't eat any of the fruit of the trees in the garden?" And the woman said to the serpent, No, we may eat of fruit from any of the trees except the tree in the middle of the garden. And we can't even touch that one or we'll die. You won't die. Certainly, said the serpent. For God knows that if you eat that fruit, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. And she also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. And the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together as coverings for themselves. And then the man and the woman heard the Lord God as he walked in the garden in the cool of the evening. And they hid from him among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called out to the man, "Where are you?" And the man answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, so I hid." And God said, "Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to?" And the man replied, "The woman, she gave me the fruit, and I ate it." And God turned to the woman and said, "What have you done?" And the woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." And that's where we're going to end the reading. Because right there is chock full of ordinary people. How many of us watch those commercials with those really nice fast cars and think, I want a car like that? Or you go to a magazine for women and it's about how to put your makeup on, how to get better skin, how to get thinner, how to have the right jewelry, the right clothes. That's what the serpent did. The serpent advertised the tree. It's not just good to look at. It's good food, but it will also give you wisdom. Now, you notice there's nothing in there that says anybody needed the wisdom. Just like we don't need the newest car, the newest piece of makeup, the newest kind of perfume, the newest style of clothing. But it's being offered all the time. So Eve fell into the same trap that we do with advertising. Serpent was a great salesman. Probably one of those that would sell, ice to an igloo maker. But we deal with that all the time. And we have to learn how to say no. What difference would it have made in this story of humanity if Eve had said no? And then we go to Adam. I'm sorry. Adam is a blame thrower. Because if you look right at it, God says, "Who told you you were naked? Did you eat from the tree?" And instead of saying and taking responsibility and saying, "Yes, I ate that fruit," his first response is, "The woman." So he's pointing away from himself, the woman. And then he moves that to even the speaker, that you, God, gave me. She gave me the fruit and I ate. So not only is it not his fault, it is the woman's fault. And because God gave her to him, it's God's fault too. Love it. Let's blame God, right? Yeah. It's that personal responsibility bit, that accepting the consequences of your own behavior. Adam isn't going to do that. He's going to throw that blame everywhere. This is the one, reading Adam one day, that made me laugh really hard because I had just come home from work. It was obviously the first part of January, like the 2nd or 3rd. And I was training, and I had started on my new, I'm going to read the Bible through front to back kind of thing. And I got to that chapter and I read about Adam and I saw him go, "The woman that you gave me," he's passing on that blame. And I thought, that's who I worked with today. The person that I was training, who I said, "Do it this way," went and did it a completely different way. It was wrong. And I said, "Why did you do it? I mean, what did you not understand?" "Oh, well, so-and-so told me that I should do it this way." "Yeah, is so-and-so your trainer? And is so-and-so working even in this area?" "Nope." But it wasn't his fault because someone else had told him, even though I had told him the correct way to do the particular task. We do that all the time. We don't want to take responsibility. Even individually, even as a society, we're not willing to take responsibility for the things that we do wrong. Now that can go way beyond your personal behavior. You have to accept responsibility, consequences. Now consequences are good and bad. We know this, right? But we don't want to accept any of the bad consequences individually. And we don't actually, even as a society, when you look at the incidence of gun violence and poverty and bigotry that's present in our society, we have all of that going on, and we're not always taking societal responsibility. because a lot of us aren't going to take personal responsibility. Amazing. We haven't grown in how many thousands of years? We still do this. And we know that this was a long time ago. And I'm not going to debate whether it's 3,000 years, 5,000 years, or, a billion years. That's not my issue right now. My issue is that this is a very old book, and these are events from a long, long time ago, and we still do them day after day. And that's what I have found throughout this book lately. And that's what I want to share with you over the coming weeks, that we can learn, first of all, to recognize these behaviors. Okay, now that we look at it, we know, okay, the serpent did a great job of advertising. So we need to learn to recognize that advertising. Adam did a great job of blame throwing. Are we blame throwing? And how can we stop blame throwing? That's 2 little steps right there for us to work on. And there's a whole lot more in this book for us to talk about. So I hope that you can join me over the next few weeks as we go through, starting from Genesis on, to learn about all these ordinary people who are just like you and me. Thank you. And if you've got any questions or comments, reach out to me and I'll try to answer the ones that I can. And in the meantime, see you next week.